What if I told you that the new Ben-Hur movie was better than the Charlton Heston classic? We're going to talk about that. What's up, everybody? This is Jake. Welcome to the official Plugged In Vodcast. I'm sitting here alongside
Paul.
I'm Bob.
Paul and Bob, and we are talking about
Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur's plural.
Yeah, Ben-Hur's.
That's right. Ben-Hur's.
Is the plural of Ben-Hur Ben-Hur's?
That's right. It's a sci-fi time travel epic
Ben-Hur.
where Ben-Hur meets Ben-Hur meets Ben-Hur. No, just kidding. We're talking about the new movie.
That would be a great movie.
We're talking about the new movie, though, that is a reboot of a classic movie that won 11 Academy Awards.
That's correct.
Which was a record until Return of the King.
Which itself was a reboot from a very famous silent movie.
From
Of 1925.
1925? Wow.
That's right. So Best
almost
Picture
as
in
old as me.
59, and Charlton Heston won Best Actor in 59. And I might add, it went 3 hours.
No.
Excuse me, minutes. You
3
don't.
hours and 43 riveting minutes. It was great. But we're getting
And
ahead
all
of
of that,
You
and all of
don't-
that
you-
was rebooting.
Back in that day, you did not want to take a big gulp, a big, extra large, big gulp with you
They
into
had an
sea.
intermission.
But you needed it, or else you die of dehydration somewhere
right.
before intermission. But,
right.
but
Hey,
you guys,
there
stop.
are some.
Hold on.
Oh, wait.
No,
I just
no.
want to say, in fairness, there are some things about the 1959 that I actually do like better. So I say, yes, I like this one best of all, meaning the remake, but there
we'll
are
get
some
you-
things. We'll
I do want to
All right.
get to that.
We'll
I
get
do
it.
want to
Okay.
get to that because that is super controversial. That
Okay.
you would say that.
Yeah.
But what's really controversial is that they rebooted the book. Can we just talk about that?
Yeah.
The book is where it's at.
That's right.
Like that's for me. I'm a purist. I
Yeah.
have not seen the
And-
1925.
Well-
I've not seen the 59.
Yeah.
I've not seen the 2016 1880 original classic right here.
Which
This
is
is
not
not it.
actually.
No, this is it. This is it.
That-
Full color
no.
pictures
No,
from
no,
the
no,
movie.
No.
This is the great granddaughter Carol Wallace revision of her great grandpa's book.
True. That's
Yeah. Okay.
Get
So
that out of
Jake
here. That's-
swears that
that's
you read
getting
the
in
original 500-page.
I did as a child. Remember, I think I
As a
talked about
child.
this previously.
When you were 3.
No, not that young. But about 11, 12, 13 years old, I did read it, and I think my plan was to see the movie. Because, again, I had to read all the books before I saw the movie.
Right. We talked about that last
And
episode.
so I read all the books, and then I never saw the movie. I think I was still scarred from when I read and watched Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, that was the end.
Awful. So, anyways, but the real controversy here is that, Bob, you really had an opinion of this new movie that elevated it above the 59.
Well, I do. Number one,
Crazy.
I had a chance to ask Mark and Roma about that. Why remake a movie that won 11 Academy Awards?
That's a name drop, by the way.
Yeah,
I was just talking
Yeah,
to Mark and Roma.
we were doing dinner and we had a coffee at Starbucks. No, they actually.
I said Marky baby.
Yeah, they flew a few of us, which I guess is still dropping.
Yeah.
They flew a few
They
of us
chartered a
out
private jet.
to Paramount Studios, and so in about a room with about 10 people. And I knew I was going to ask this question: why remake a film that won 11 Academy? And I was pretty sure I knew the answer. And the answer was, drum roll please, was the fact that the first one went 3 hours and 43 minutes, and they felt that probably people weren't watching the old one, and the message was so good that for this newer audience, they felt it had to be more of an action adventure, had to be quicker paced, and as such, they had to leave out big chunks of the story from the 59.
Essentially, they're saying that because our brains are all addled from the internet,
Yes.
we
been
cannot
rewired,
absorb
guys.
a nice
We've been
long
rewired.
movie.
That's right. Because there's no more intermission and we're still drinking those big gulps, they did not want to go Lord of the Rings length filmed. Okay.
Lord
All
of the
right,
Rings
so
worked for me, though.
you're talking about why they remade it, but why did you like it more?
I liked it more for the same reason they remade it, which was it was faster, it was shorter,
We know
it
that
got to the
it'd be
point.
like shorter.
In the 1959 version, there were times when, even though Charlton Heston won an Academy Award, I felt that once he was asked a question, he would have this pause, and he would look into the camera.
friends.
And then he would answer the question. And I wanted to say, speed it up a little bit. And so I wanted to be the director. Now, you hate to say I'd like to be the director of Charlton Heston. I get that. But I did want to speed it up a little bit. And this newer version,
it was almost like
somebody got the idea that, hey, let's move on. Let's go.
It's like they had Charlton Heston, so they're like, you know what? Let's indulge Charlton. Let's let him go.
That's right. And they let him go. And hey,
it wasn't like the Ten Commandments, though. Posing with his muscles and everything. I thought it was pretty good in the 1959 version.
It was.
Actually.
It was.
Okay, so Paul disagrees. And normally I would think this would be flip-flopped. Like, I think Paul would like the newer, you would like the...
Yeah.
Oh, no,
that's not true.
True.
Paul's super old as well. So, Paul, tell us why you like the archaic version of Ben-Hur better than
the archaic.
The new one.
Well, I'm not going to say it's like humongously superior, because like B-Dub, I had some things that I really liked about the new one as well. But man, I tell you what, you just can't beat those old sprawling epics, you know. And I think that when you talk about the original 1959 version, that scene, that chariot race, it's one of the most iconic moments in film. That's exactly right. You know, and the thing is, when you look at the chariot race from the 1959 version to this one, they're both really exciting.
Oh, they are.
But for some reason, the 1959 version felt more fun. It felt more thrilling. It felt more real. In part because you knew that they were doing this all for real. There wasn't any CGI that you could lean on.
Yeah, but in fairness to the director of this one, about 90% of the chariot race is real in this one. Only about 10% is CGI. What's
That's
CGI?
Impressive.
When horse trips on the racetrack, that was CGI. And when a team of horses goes up into the stands, that was CGI. But it was like, I believe, 40 days of the shoot was just to film that 10-minute or so chariot scene.
That's impressive. And I think that's one of the things, they really did the chariot scene well. I think every movie actually could be improved with the chariot scene. There you go. That would be great. But
even The Matrix.
But when you
looked at the red pill or the blue pill, well, it depends on how the horses do.
This movie also, though, that was the chariot scene was a little bit jarring for me, in part because they were relying so much on CGI. They had a lot more injuries, particularly to horses, actually, that I didn't remember from the 1959 version, you know. And oddly enough, when you see animals injured, die on screen, that's a hard thing for me. And you being a horse owner, a horse lover.
Yeah, have one that's 38 years old that we've owned since it was 2. So there's many, many years of horse owning.
Yeah.
But I believe I'm right on this, and maybe I should say, but there was a tripwire in the 1959 version that was run across the track. So when you watch the horses stumble, they cannot put that little message at the end of the film that says no animals were hurt in the making of this film, because they were hurt. You know,
they went
my goodness!
Hard.
And the original 1925 version,
wasn't that like massive horse?
Oh my goodness!
Someone died.
Omers was right there on scene, getting ready for to haul the animals out for the glue.
Well, and a person died. A person died in the 1925 version. The rumor was that a person had died in the 1959 version, but if you go to Scopes, they say that's not true. It was in 1925.
It's young. All right. So you guys debated the merits of these films.
Right.
From how you appreciated their storytelling and all that, but what we want to close with here is from the spiritual aspect. We know that the story of Judah Ben-Hur is
fiction.
Is a historical fiction. So he's not a real character.
Correct.
But woven tightly into the fabric of the story is the story of Jesus.
Right. Yeah. The original book is Ben-Hur, Tale of the Christ. So we know that he's a big part of it.
So I want to know, how does the new Ben-Hur fare in that regard?
Well, I think Jesus actually has more screen time in the new version than he did in the 1959 version. That said, more screen time still is very little screen time, but that's okay because he is still a central character.
Yeah. Right.
Judah Ben-Hur's mother and sister still contract leprosy, although it's not as clear in the new one as it was in the 59 version.
Correct.
And when Jesus dies on the cross at the very end of the movie, they're once again healed in the new version, much more clear again.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, come on. The book's been out for like 130 years. Hey, guys, guess what?
I don't want to. Possibly we're healed. We don't want to
We
spoil
gotta
it.
be careful about these.
I don't know if they were healed. All right, so there you go, folks. That is Ben-Hur, the new movie in theaters. Be sure to check out our review right here at PluggedIn.com. Signing off for the official Plugged In Vodcast, I'm Jake.
I'm Bob.
I'm Paul.
We'll catch you guys on the flip side.
See ya.